welcome to another review video. Today we'll be discussing this one. I would have a physical copy, but Waterstones is dragging their ass. And this is the book Queen of the Seas. It's the first book in the Pirate Queen series by James Fuller, who very kindly gifted me this free ebook. It was published earlier this year and I will link it down below. Like I said, I was gifted a free e-copy and I was not paid for this review, I have to make that clear. But I was barely 2 chapters in before I logged on to Waterstones and ordered a physical copy. And for a Yorkshire lass such as myself to part with brass when I already technically have a copy, you know it's going to be a firm favourite. So, let's grab the rum. I don't have rum, I have this instead. Gotta love that noise. And let's get started. So there will be spoilers for the first couple of chapters, but anything after that, there is a firm no-no. So I'm going to outline what happens in the first couple of chapters, see if you like it, because that is what got me hooked in the first place, and then we'll discuss a bit about it. So the story starts with our main character, Callisto. She's about 9 or 10 years old and she is bonding with her father before he has to go pay the local hotshot a visit because he is a fisherman and he has accepted a loan from this guy to mend his boat that got damaged the last time. However, he has to go to this meeting because he has not been bringing in as much fish as he usually would. And the reason for this is he is selling half of his catch to this hotshot guy, Gaspar, his business rival. And he's selling half of his catch to him because he's offering him more money. And Gaspar finds out about it. Now Gaspar has one of his cronies grab Callisto from behind and holds a dagger to her throat and gives her father the ultimatum that he can either watch as they slit Callisto's throat or he can chop off his own hand while she watches. Simio, of course, picks that he will chop off his own hand, and Callisto is forced to watch every agonising little detail. And she has to accompany her father back home alone, and her brothers come to find them because it's been so long since they've seen them, and they take their father to the local healer, and because Callisto can't fit in the wagon, she opts to walk home alone to tell their mother everything that's happened. But while she's walking home, she sees a flame in the woods and it calls to her, pulling at her subconscious, and she makes the decision to follow it. And this brings her to a shrine of the Greek god of war, Ares. And while she's inspecting the shrine, she gets a bit of background on gods, sacrifices, altars, etc. from a mysterious figure in a hooded cape who tells her that she may ask for a favour from the gods if she provides them with a sacrifice and if they accept. They don't always accept, but the gesture is there. And this mysterious figure offers her a fresh hare that he has just caught in order for her to make the sacrifice because he can see that she is pissed. She is extremely angry at everything, the world, everything in it. Now Callisto doesn't really... she's a bit sceptical, let's say. But she takes the hare and makes the offering anyway. And while she's making this offering, she tells Ares that she wants vengeance for her father and for Gaspar to suffer at her hand and for her to kill him and watch his blood drain slowly. And to everyone's astonishment, Ares accepts. After this, Callisto does not go home. She instead, it's dark by this time, she instead goes back to Gaspar's mansion, avoids the guards, and creeps through the house. She's helped by a mysterious woman who shows her which doors are the ones to Gaspar's room, and of course they are the most ornate. Callisto sneaks in there, Gaspar wakes up, and Callisto hides in the corner, and she's very she doesn't know whether to go through with it ultimately or not. After another vision from Ares, she gets her courage and she rams a dagger into his back while he's pissing. Succeeds in killing him and escaping home. Now when she gets home, she is drenched in blood. And everybody has been wondering where she is. And she shows up, she is dripping in blood. And then they quickly establish that it is not actually hers. Now when she tells them what she did, she is expecting them to be full of pride at her handiwork. She has avenged her father. She has got the guy that was holding them over a barrel, so to speak. But that's not how this goes. Her mother is outraged at her antics. Her elder brother Macario is extremely worried that she will be found out and that she seems to have no remorse for taking someone's life. And her second brother Tad is he is beyond impressed at what she's done and what she's managed to do, given that she's a 9-year-old girl, and is a little bit annoyed that she didn't take him with her to do it, because he would have liked to kill him as well. Now Tad wakes her up later, and he wakes her up in a hurry, shoves a bag in her hand and tells her that the guards are coming for her. They're coming down the road. Somebody must have snitched, but we never find out who it was. It's either the woman in the house, or I'm more leaning towards it probably her own mother to save her own skin. But we don't find that out. Now, Callisto escapes, and then we get a time jump. Callisto is now working in the port city of Tamora, and she is a con artist and a thief, and she is very, very good at it. But after a particularly bad day, not necessarily that bad, seeing as where she ends up having to stow away on a ship called the Wind Spirit as her only means of escape, as the whole city is out for her. Which all goes smoothly. She stays hidden, she's stowed away in the ship, until the ship is attacked by pirates.
Bloody pirates!
And Callisto Sinclair finds herself in the possession of the legendary fearsome pirate Captain Blackmane, aboard the Poseidon's Fury. Now, once she is captured and in chains in the cabin, there are many events that happen in a short space of time. But our Callisto is nothing if not a survivor first and foremost, and she manages to take charge of events, not an easy feat. And with help from a vision from Ares when she is at her lowest and in chains, she murders Captain Blackmane, this legendary fearsome pirate, and Captain Callisto Sinclair takes charge of the legendary pirate ship, the Poseidon's Fury, and her motley crew of cutthroats. But this is all in the first few chapters. This isn't even a quarter of the way through the book. Her adventures certainly don't end there. It would be a pretty short book if it did, but thankfully they don't. For her adventures include a murderous pirate crew, is there any other? A pirate island ruled by pirate queen Glacia, entanglements with Greek gods, mythical creatures, treasure, enemies at every turn, betrayal, revenge, and ultimately, loyalty. I can't get across how much I think everybody should read this book. I couldn't put it down. I'm so glad I didn't start it at night, because I would have been reading through the night. I wouldn't have been to sleep. It's one of those. I think the book cover is absolutely beautiful. I'm sorry, I don't know the artist. And I think the pacing of events throughout this book is just perfection. The writing is slow when it needs to be slow. Like there's like a battle scene where everybody's sort of waiting for a signal and you're the reader waiting for the signal, and I actually found myself while reading this actually leaning forward like it was going to make it go faster, because in my mind all I could see was this clip from Pirates of the Caribbean. This is not how the battle goes, by the way, it's just what I could see in my head while I was reading this and waiting for that signal to drop. And when it does, for me, reviewing this, I like to include a few criticisms in my reviews, so it is kind of balanced. Except with this, I found it really, really hard to pick a criticism. If I had to pick one, if I was pushed, I would probably say that the ending events at the end are a bit brutal. Like, there's a specific scene at the end, I'm not going to actually say what it is, but there's a specific scene that when I was reading, I actually sat back and was like, whoa, bit much. But
King?
I understand why the character did it, and why that is an ingrained part of who our main character is. And it's actually kind of a good thing, because then the reader isn't lulled into a false sense of security having known the character for a couple of 100 pages, and that main character can still surprise you, which is a very good thing. Oh, hang the criticism. There isn't one. So for me, this book has a total of 5 stars. I mean, how could it not? I've practically gushed over it for the past half an hour. The main character of Callisto Sinclair...
Captain!
Captain Callisto Sinclair is everything you could want in a main character for this type of book. She's not some Mills and Boone type pirate queen surrounded by 6 foot tall, muscled, tattooed, rippling guys. She is not afraid to get down dirty and bloody with the rest of them, and usually she's the first one to do it. Murderous wench. She is deadly, she is very clever, and most of all, she is a survivor. Now bear in mind, this is only the first book in a series, and I'm so eager to read the next one. I don't know when it's coming out. You can guarantee that I will be the first in that queue to find out what happens to our pirate queen, Captain Callisto. The seas are wicked and dangerous at the best of times. The ancient gods of old still lay claim to the ocean realm men cannot hope to conquer. Very few still make offerings to those unforgiving deities in faith for clemency. Fewer still have learned the secrets to coexist with such vengeful beings. And only one among those was ever favoured with the title Queen of the Seas. In a world ruled by men and gold, Callisto was no fool. If she wanted something, she had to take it by any means necessary, and it was because of her bold, unruly nature that everything she had dreamed for had changed. With the whisper of a god and a blooded dagger twice. The life of a pirate had never been her dream, until the moment she seized control of the Poseidon's fury. Right there and then, it had become her destiny, one she had been born for, chosen for, and one which men had begun to fear.